ever enjoyed?
Okay. Just a second here. There we go. So have you ever?
Nine.
Mhm. So number 9, have
Have
you
you ever?
ever
You ever
joined
enjoyed?
Ever
a political party? Right. Have you ever? Present perfect.
join
Number 10
a
says
political
since
party?
last month. Since last month.
Haven't
Hasn't been.
Hasn't
or
been
hasn't been.
hasn't been in class since last month. Present perfect. The next one says
Hasn't.
just. What can we say for just?
And
Is
Has
chef,
taste.
is chef or
the chef.
Has just tasted,
chef
right? He has
The soup.
just tasted
just
Say I need more pepper.
the soup and he
It
says it
has.
needs more pepper. Has just tasted.
Just taste it.
Has just tasted. Next one, it says the dog enjoys. What does the
running.
dog enjoy?
Running.
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 Gerund
Running.
only. Gerund only, right. The dog enjoys running around the neighborhood. Remember, enjoy, love,
13.
hate, gerund.
13.
Number 13 says
Have
last
your
night.
sister heard? Have your
Did
sister
your
report?
Should we say has or did?
Did your
Did.
sister?
Did your
your
sister?
sister here?
Did your sister hear the report on the radio?
Here.
The next one, 14, I am on Saturdays. On Saturdays, in general, right?
Didn't go.
I
Didn't.
Didn't or
I
doesn't?
don't.
Or don't?
Doesn't.
Doesn't do.
Don't,
I-
right?
Or it
I don't.
Don't.
I
don't
don't.
do.
I
Don't do.
don't do.
I don't do.
I don't do my laundry on Saturday.
It's a regular action.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right. Regular action. 15. 15 says next week. Next week is future, right?
Will be.
Will be.
Will be, or
Or I'm going.
I'm going to
I'm
be.
going to
I'm
be,
going.
right?
Mhm.
Will be, or I'm going to be.
I'm going to be.
Sounds excellent. All right.
16.
Now, number 16, it says every morning. Every morning is in general. So what can we
Siglo
say for that?
present.
Does.
Is or does?
Does.
Does, right. Because we're making a general statement.
That exercise.
Yes, Mr.
Does Mr. Smith exercise every morning? All right. Number 17. Brad,
Hasn't called.
lately
Hasn't. Hasn't.
hasn't
Oh,
called.
hasn't been.
You could say hasn't been calling, but with negative, I would prefer just hasn't called. All right. The next one says tomorrow.
When the student
I
has.
agree. Will
the student talk?
Will the students talk to the director after class tomorrow? Will talk. Hate.
Lending.
Again, hate
my
could be both. Lending
Lending money
or
to my body.
to
To
lend.
lend money.
I hate lend. My father hates lending money or hates to lend money to anybody. The next one says yet. Sounds like present perfect, right?
Has taken.
The baby taken. The baby taken.
Has the baby
napkin.
taken a napkin? Has taken. The next one. Already.
Has already.
You
Has
got it.
already
You got it. Has already.
baked.
Has
Baked.
already baked, right?
Baked.
B-A-K-E-D. The next one is a negative, and it says at the moment. At the moment.
Isn't dancing.
You got it. Isn't dancing.
It's not dancing.
The next one, now. What can we say for now?
are
I agree.
eating, eating.
Are eating, right?
Oh, 23.
Are the workers eating lunch at the cafeteria now? Are eating. Next one is simple past regular verb.
Swam.
I swam.
Swamp. Swamp.
How do you spell it?
Swa-
S
S
M
W
W
Oh,
O
I
Um,
A M.
A.M., right? Swam. Remember, you need that big open mouth with your pronunciation. Swam. 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 I swam at the public pool yesterday. Swam. And finally, Mr. Hanson avoids. Avoids K.
Collie.
Colleen.
Colin.
Exactly. Remember, avoid, stop, finish, cancel, postpone, put off, avoid, calling. Right? Okay.
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 All right.
All right.
Good, 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 good. All right, good. So,
So,
let me stop the share for a second. See who we have here. We have all of our beautiful people here. We have Guadalupe and Edith and Isadora and Julio and Claudia and Jose and Noel, Rosendo, Leonarda, Rodriguez, Armando, David. What happened to Armando? He disappeared.
No, he's
Oh, there he
something
is.
about the
All
work.
right. All right. There he is. Hello, Armando. And Noel raised his hand. Hello, Noel.
Hello.
All right. So everybody has a good weekend, yes?
yeah.
I told some people, but I'll say it again for everybody now that everybody's here. The doctor said everything is fine, so I don't have to go back for five more years. So yay.
Great.
Yeah.
So you're stuck with me for a while. No.
Nice to hear that.
Hi, Lupe.
So although
Hello.
they're very serious about keeping everything clean, even more than usual, because you go in for the examination, and then the person in front of you goes in, but then they have to stop for 20 minutes to clean for 20 minutes, and then the next person can go in. So they have to take a 20-minute break between every patient. So
Wow.
so it took a little longer for me, because I was supposed to go in at 9 o'clock, and I didn't get in until 11:30. So I was
Ooh, wow.
waiting for 2 hours because they had to clean for 20 minutes between every patient. So I sat and waited for a long time. But
That's good, huh?
important to have precaution, right?
Yeah.
Precaution is important. All right. So tonight we're going to start out with a review of everything from last week. What did we talk about last week? Passive, right? But we're going to add some new things onto it, and we'll also review something we talked about way back in the first week of our online class. So we've got a lot of different things happening in the class tonight. So it'll be a good lesson for everybody. All right. So let me get started with a little presentation, and to do that, I'm gonna turn off everybody's microphone. So we can listen in silence. And remember, just because your microphone's off doesn't mean you can't ask a question. If you want to ask a question, just turn your microphone back on and say, Mr. Webb, I have a question. So don't, or write down your question and ask it after the presentation. But it's always good when we have some silence for concentration. All right. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about using passive, but using passive in different kinds of ways tonight. So let me see if I can find the proper window to share. Here we go. All right, and go back up to here from the beginning. All right, can everybody see the slide? If you can see it, give me a big thumbs up. All right, good. And everybody can hear me, obviously, yes? All right, so let's talk. Stative passive. Using passive voice to describe nouns. First, let's do a little review of passive, and then we'll talk about what I'm talking about tonight. Right? Using passive voice. This is just a review here. We have already seen that passive voice uses the be verb and the past participle. Let's look at everything we learned last week. Here's simple present, right? These cars are made in France. Are made. French cars. Not too many French cars out there. I think the Renault, maybe, or the Peugeot. Let's see. Here's simple past. The most hot dogs were sold by John. Right? Again, be verb, past participle. The grades will be posted tomorrow. Again, be verb, past participle. The animals are being fed now. Now, this is the one that was on Thursday's video, right? Continuous passive, right? What do we have here? Are being fed. The present, the continuous, and the passive are being fed. And the dinner has been made. That's our present perfect passive with has been made. So what do we have here? Are, were, will be, are being, has been, but the verb is always past participle. Made, fed, posted, sold, and made again. Right? So we need past participle with all of these. All right, now that's passive. That's what we talked about last week. This was, I think, Tuesday's lesson and Wednesday, and then we talked about these two on the video on Thursday. All right. But sometimes this gets just a little more complicated than necessary. Even though passive is usually about actions, we can also use the passive to describe a noun after the action has happened. So we're still describing something, but we're not really focused on the action. We're focused on the noun that it happened to. Let me show you what I mean. The house on the corner is sold. Right? I don't say has been sold or was sold yesterday, just it's sold. Right? You see those, when you drive around the neighborhood, you see those signs on the houses, right? Sold. Right? What is that? That's passive. Right? They're saying this house is sold. It's not for sale anymore. It's sold. That's a present tense form of passive to describe the house. How about this one? Don't sit in that chair. It's broken. Right? We don't think about it really, but that's passive, isn't it? Be verb, past participle. Right? The chair is broken because somebody broke it. Right? But I'm not focused on the action. I'm focused on the chair. I want to describe the chair. Is that a good chair? No, it's no good. It's broken. Right? I'm focused on the chair, not on the action. We couldn't open the closet because it was locked. Right? It was locked. By whom? by somebody. I don't know. It's not important. I'm describing the closet. It was locked and I didn't have the key. I'm describing the closet. Oh no, my sink is clogged. This one happened to me today. My sink is clogged. I will have to call the plumber. Clog means no water is going down, right? No water is going down. All right, next one. By the time I got to the store, I discovered that it was closed. Right? Right? You see, so you see passive every day, don't you? Closed, sold, right? You see those signs. What are those signs? Those are stative passive. Is it open or closed? Is it for sale or is it sold? Those are passive forms because we all have the same thing. Be, past participle. Be, past participle. But we're describing the thing, not the action. We're not focused on the action. We're focused on the situation. Stative passive exceptions. Now, some of these stative passives are a little bit funny, right? They're strange. Sometimes we use the form that doesn't really make sense. The verb isn't passive because there's no active action that we're talking about. There's no action that we're talking about. For example, the verb isn't really passive, but we use the past participle more like an adjective. What do I mean? For example, can you help me? I think that I am lost. I'm lost, right? I didn't lose anything. If I say, for example, my cell phone is lost, that's a passive, right? But if I say I'm lost, it's not really passive, but it's a passive form. It's kind of funny. Or I'm done with this project, so I'm going to take a break. I'm done. Meaning I don't have anything to do. I'm finished. I'm done. Are you finished with my book yet? Again, be verb, past participle. Lost, done, finished. They're all past participles. Where's my laptop? Oh no, it's gone. Oh, the laptop robber just ran off. Right? Where's my laptop? Oh no, it's gone. Right? Again, go is almost never passive because it's an intransitive verb. But there it is, passive form. It's gone. All right. Now, we're going to talk more about this in another lesson, but I'm just mentioning it now that two very common ones that we use with passive are used to and accustomed to. It's a passive form with an infinitive, right? Actually, not an infinitive, custom form with a gerund, right? Two stative passives we frequently use are be used to, right? That's passive. Be used to, and be accustomed to, with a noun or a gerund. They express habit or familiarity. But again, it's be verb, ed, and infinitive. No, sorry, gerund. Jorge is used to spicy food. He has eaten it all his life. It's familiar to him. It's his custom to eat spicy food. Or, I'm not used to driving on the freeway yet. I need practice. It's unfamiliar to me. I need practice. Are you accustomed to humid weather? Are you accustomed to humid weather? Kenji is from Japan. He's accustomed to using chopsticks. So again, the form is passive, but we're not really talking about an action. We have a passive form, but really we're describing the person. I'm describing Jorge, or I'm describing myself. I'm describing you or Kenji. I'm describing people. Yeah, I'm used to this. This is not unusual for me. I'm accustomed to it. Notice a noun and a gerund. Now, in a couple of chapters, we're going to have a lesson about used to and be used to, two that are very similar, but they're not the same. So we'll look for that lesson coming up in the future. But right here, just be used to and be accustomed to. Similar, but not the same. Be careful. Don't confuse be used to for familiarity with used to for past habits. This is what I was talking about. We're going to have a whole lesson about this now, but I'm just going to mention it briefly right now, and we'll have a lesson about this, I think, in the next chapter or maybe the chapter after that. For example, Veronica used to eat meat, but now she's a vegan. Right? There's a vegan meal there with all those vegetables and beans and garbanzo beans, and lettuce. Right? She used to eat meat, pero no more. On the other hand, Tim loves beef. He is used to eating meat every day. He is used to eating meat every day. Veronica used to eat meat, but she doesn't anymore. Tim is used to eating meat. He eats it all the time. It's typical for him. So be careful. This and this are different. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this tonight because, like I said, we have a whole lesson coming up. But remember, this form at the bottom, the second one, is passive. This form is not. That's simple past. This is simple past. This is present tense passive. It looks similar, but it's different. So we have to be careful with that. All right. Be supposed to is one that we're going to concentrate on mostly tonight. Again, it's a passive form, isn't it? We have be supposed to. Be verb, past participle, infinitive. And this is what I sent you a video about supposed to. And hopefully you had a chance to watch that before the class, right? What do I mean when I say I'm supposed to? Well, let's talk about it. We use this dative passive with the infinitive to indicate responsibilities and the expectations of others. For example, we are supposed to read page 19 before the class tomorrow. The teacher gave us an assignment. We are supposed to read page 19. Similar to have to, but not exactly. What time are we supposed to be at the meeting? What time do they expect us to be there? We should see this new movie. It's supposed to be really good. It's supposed to be. People tell me that it's good. Right? Again, it's all about what other people tell me. Hey, you aren't supposed to use those computers. You're doing something that you're not supposed to. According to this recipe, I'm supposed to use 1 cup of sugar. I'm supposed to use 1 cup of sugar. Supposed, right? So again, I want you to notice something. Remember to use ED in all of our forms. This is a passive, so we need those past participles. Supposed to, supposed to, supposed to. Now, when I'm talking, you never hear ED because I say, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that, right? The D and the T kind of blend together, right? So it sounds like suppose to, but but the ED is there even if you don't hear it. So be careful. Put that ED in there. I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to. All right. Now this is a little review of what we had in, I think, the first lesson or the second lesson this trimester. Again, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but just a reminder. Remember, these are both participles. This is the past participle, and this is the present participle. Bored is passive. Boring is active. So let me show you. We often use the past participle to describe our reaction to things. And we use ing to describe the things themselves. Remember, we had this lesson about, what, 3 or 4 weeks ago, right? Even before, I think it was the second night of the class. So here it is again. Remember, I'm exhausted is my reaction to my day, right? What's your reaction? I'm exhausted. But on the other hand, for me, online learning is exhausting, right? I feel ED. That thing is ing. I feel ED. That thing is ing. Are you interested in sports? That's your feeling, right? I feel interested. This new novel that I'm reading is really interesting, right? Again, I feel ED. That thing is ing. I feel ED. That thing is ing. Right? Remember, reactions, ED. Things, ing. People can be ing too. For example, you could have a boring teacher. Or you could have a real exciting, an exciting new girlfriend, right? So ing could be people, but ED is always people. ED is always people. ing is usually things. All right. So if you are bored, that means you're not doing anything interesting. If you are boring, people don't want to be your friend, right? And here are some common ones. We've talked about these words before, but here's a bunch of them, right? Remember, we had this lesson a few weeks ago. ing for the thing, right? Here's how I remember it. How do you spell thing? T-H-I-N-G. So how do you describe thing? With the ing. So this is a new computer. It's amazing, right? And the customers are amazed by how much this computer can do, right? This is a funny movie. It's very amusing, a thing, amusing. And the people in the audience are amused at the movie. So here you have hay muchos, right? And again, I'm going to send these slides out to everybody. So you'll have all of these in your notes. I'll send them out after the class is over. All right, come some exceptions. Remember that we don't say scaring, we say scary, scary movie, right? But we do say scared. The same thing is we don't say shaming, we say shameful. But we do say ashamed, I'm ashamed. Ashamed means very, very embarrassed, right? So those are two exceptions. Scary and scared, shameful and ashamed. All right, good. Excellent. Let's do some practice with these participle adjectives real fast, and then we're going to focus on the rest of the lesson tonight. All right, so let me turn on everybody's microphone. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
You remember these participle adjectives from a couple weeks ago? We talked about it in like the middle of April. The middle of April, we talked about it. So let's do a little practice with this real fast, and then we'll focus on the other things. All right. Which one should we use in the sentences? All right. Let's take a look here. The sound of the smoke alarm is, which one?
Irritating.
Irritating.
Trading.
ING?
Yes.
ING, yes.
Correct. Right? The sound of the smoke alarm is irritating. Right? ING because it's a thing.
Thing.
How about number 2? We were by the math problem.
Confused.
Confused.
ED?
Confused.
ED, I agree. Very good.
Reaction, ED.
We were confused. My reaction, ED. How about this one? I am about what happened.
Upset.
I'm upset. Very good. Again, my reaction. My reaction. I'm upset. I'm upset about what happened. I'm upset. All right. Mr. Sanchez's decision is
Disappointed.
Disappointing.
ING.
ING.
Yes.
Right. ¿Por qué?
Porque it's
This
a
is a
thing.
thing.
Because we're not describing Mr. Sanchez. We're describing the
No, it's a
decision, right?
decision.
The decision.
The decision.
Right? We are disappointed, but his decision is very
Is
disappointing. Very good.
Disappointing.
All right. The speaker told many stories. What kind of stories? Amusing or amused?
Amusing.
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 Music.
ING.
I'm describing the
We
stories,
can
right?
describe the story.
What kind of stories? Amusing stories. Amusing stories. All right. So far, so good?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
far, so
All right.
good.
Let's try 5 more. Here we go again. The kids were by the magician's trick. Were they amazing or amazed?
Amazing.
Amazed.
Kids
Right.
were amazing by the magician trick.
ED.
Amazed.
Amazed. Right.
Amazed?
That's their reaction, right?
Yes.
Amazed?
The trick was amazing,
Amazing.
but the kids were amazed. Wow.
Okay. The kids were amazed. Okay.
Right? That's their reaction. Wow. They're amazed.
Okay.
We were to see Emily at church.
ED.
ED, again,
Surprise.
that's our reaction, right?
Yeah.
Our reaction. We were very surprised to see her there. We don't usually see her in the church. And there she was. I was surprised to see her. How about this one? It is to forget somebody's name.
Embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
ING.
Embarrassing.
ING, right? It's embarrassing. We're talking about the action, not the person, right?
Yep.
You feel embarrassed because you did something that was very embarrassing. You feel embarrassed because the situation is very embarrassing. Star Wars is what kind of a movie?
Entertaining?
Entertaining. movie.
Entertaining, right?
ENG?
ING, you got it.
ING.
And number 10. The student felt with her English level.
Ashamed.
Ashamed.
Right? How did she
Yes,
feel? She
ashamed.
felt ashamed.
Ashamed.
She felt ashamed. ED to describe her reaction to how she felt about something.
Ashamed.
All right, no problems. That we already had a whole lesson, 2 hours about that, right? So I don't want to spend a lot of time on that tonight. I just want to remind you that this will be on your final test. So just remember it. And the reason I'm mentioning it here, why? Because when we use ED, that's a past participle, right? And why are we using past participle? Because it's passive. Passive. ING, that's called a present participle. And why are we using that? Because it's active. Active and passive is what decides whether it's ING or ED. All right.
Start. Okay.
The end. You students are amazing.
Progress.
Your teacher will be amazed with your progress. I think so.
I hope.
I hope so.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, good. No problem? Let me turn on everybody's microphone again. Microphone. All right, let's see. Unmute everybody. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we doing? Everybody good?
Good.
Más o menos, huh? Más o menos. All right. Now, oh, doggy. All right. So, tonight, that was just a little review of that amazing and amazed business. But I do want to look at something new. And the new thing I want to look at tonight is in, oh my goodness. Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah, whoever has the kid, there we go. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, yeah. I want you to participate, but we need to be respectful. All right. So, what do I want to concentrate on tonight? I want to concentrate on one of those, the second to last thing we talked about, which was be supposed to. Be supposed to. Be supposed to. Okay? All right, so let's take a look at be supposed to.
Two.
Be supposed to. All right, let's take a look at it, and then I want to practice together. Now I'm going to put up my board, and I want to look at it a little more closely. Right? All right.
¿Quieres oír mi clase? Eso ahí.
All right.
Estaba yendo con el otro. No, está así mejor, se mira mejor. Sí, mira.
All right. Be supposed to. Remember, what are we talking about? We're talking about am, is, and are, right? Plus supposed plus infinitive, right? Am, is, are plus supposed plus infinitive.
Supposed plus infinitive.
Right? Because we've already had similar things, right? For example, my teacher expects me to be on time, right? Remember we did this last week, right? I am expected to be on time. Right? We had that last week, right? The active and the passive, right? And remember, we had a bunch of verbs like that. Students are required, students are expected, students are encouraged, students are permitted, etc., 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 etc. Well, the reason why supposed is kind of in a separate lesson is because there's no real, the word suppose means think, right? So for example, someone says, are you going to the party next Friday? I suppose.
Of course.
When you say I suppose, what does it mean?
Not sure.
It means like probably, yeah. Probably. Yeah, and you're not sure, but that's what you think, right? You're not sure, but that's what you think. So you say, how much is it going to cost to fix my car? I suppose maybe $200, right? That's usually when we use I suppose, right? When we're guessing about something. We're not positive. We're making an estimate. We're making an estimate. But here, what are we saying? if you say, for example, all students are supposed to be on time.
On time.
All students are supposed to be on time. What does that mean? That means it's expected. That's the rule. Will all students be on time? Maybe, maybe not, but that's the rule. Right? We use supposed to when we talk about rules and expectations. Right? So, for
Right.
example, so maybe you read on your medicine bottle. I'm not supposed to drink any alcohol with this medicine. I'm not supposed to drink any alcohol. I'm not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
Right? So whenever we use supposed to and not supposed to, we're talking about rules and expectations. Rules and expectations. Make sense so far?
On time. I expect to
All
be
right.
on time. You're supposed
All right.
to be on time.
And then in a question, of course, are we going to use do and does? No. ¿Por qué? Because this is passive, right? And we don't use do, does, or did in passive. What do we use? Am, is, are,
Be.
was, were. So we're going to use our be verb, right? So for example, are we supposed to copy these sentences into our books? So here we have affirmative, and a negative, and a question, right? And specifically, what are we using? B-E-D, passive form, passive form. No do, no does, no did. Sometimes I hear people say things like, I don't supposed to. That doesn't make sense. I'm not supposed to.
I don't supposed to. I'm not supposed to.
I'm not supposed to. You're not supposed to. He's not supposed to. Right?
I don't
Not
supposed to.
supposed to. Not supposed to. ED plus
Not
infinitive.
I don't
Just like all the ones we learned in lesson B. If you look back at lesson B, we learned all of those passive with infinitive. Passive with infinitive. This is another one, but it's another one that we use all the time. All the time. Right? We probably use supposed to more than we use have to. Right? Have to and supposed to are very, very similar, aren't they? What's the difference? When we use have to, it means something is necessary. When we use supposed to, it means somebody told me to do it. Right? So have to, I could say, for example, I have to do my laundry tonight. I have to do my laundry. That makes sense. But it doesn't make sense to say I'm supposed to do my laundry tonight. Right? You use supposed to when somebody tells you, your boss, your teacher, your parents, right? That's when we use supposed to. Somebody told me to do this. Somebody told me to do this. Right? I was told. Somebody told me.
So we cannot, Mr. Wade, we cannot use it and our, I was gonna say, in our proper statements. Only when somebody else tells you.
We can't use them. We can use them when somebody is expecting something to happen, right? But we don't. We could say, for example, it's all about expectation. If nobody expects it, then we can't say supposed to. So, for example, you don't really say, for example, dogs are supposed to drink water. Right? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, let's say I'm supposed to be early tomorrow and work.
Right. I'm supposed to be early tomorrow means somebody expects you, right?
Okay. All right.
Somebody expects you, right? So the worker says, I'm supposed to be early tomorrow. The boss says to himself, I have to be early,
Oh, okay.
right? When you make the rule for yourself, you say, I have to,
Oh, okay.
right? So maybe I say, oh, I have to exercise today, meaning that's my rule, right? I have to. But if I say, according to my doctor, I'm supposed to exercise.
Oh, okay, yeah, because come to the other person.
Yeah, my
Somebody tell
doctor,
you.
somebody told you. Somebody told you. Whenever you use supposed to, it's always about expectation. Now, it can be like an expectation of an expert. So, for example, it's supposed to be sunny tomorrow. Meaning people expect it's going to be sunny, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you think of supposed to, think of expectation, right?
Oh.
Think of expectation, right? So if your doctor expects you to do something, or your boss expects you to do something, or your brother expects you to do something, or your sister expects you to do something, or your mom expects you to do something, I'm supposed to. Right? You say, oh man, I'm supposed to pick up my friend at the airport because I promised, right? He's expecting it. Somebody's expecting me to do it. And you say, hey, what do you want to do? You want to go to a movie tomorrow? I'm supposed to go to this party. Meaning the people are expecting me, right? Have to means it's necessary.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like
It's necessary. Whereas supposed to means somebody expects it. Somebody expects it. Usually your boss or your teacher or your mother or whatever, right? But usually you don't say I'm supposed to for your own decisions. You might say I have to for my own decision. For example, I have to go to the store because I don't have any bread. Right? But I'm supposed to go to the store because I don't have any bread. Doesn't really make sense, right? So it's very similar to have to, but it's not the same. It's not the same. Okay. All right. Now, I want to practice a little bit together. I'm going to put the stop the share here and talk to the whole group. There's everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
All right. So for the last 6 weeks, it's been a very strange time here in California, right?
Yep.
We've had quarantine, right? So I want us to let's make a little list together, and then we're gonna practice more with some partners too. But first, I want to practice together. Let's see how many people do we have here tonight? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people. Let's see if we can think of 5 things that everybody is supposed to do in these days, and 5 things that people are not supposed to do in these days. All right, let's see if we can make a list. All right, Guadalupe, give me one. Are you ready?
I don't see you. Wait.
You ready?
Okay, give me just a second.
What are we supposed to do during this time?
Are you supposed to lose some weight?
No, we're talking about the quarantine time.
Okay. We're supposed to stay home.
You're supposed to be in class.
The governor and the mayor gave us some rules and regulations, right?
Oh, we're supposed to
To
wear
stay home.
Mr. Web class.
What?
We're supposed to wear mask.
Perfect, right? Everybody is supposed to wear a mask, right? When we go outside. That's one thing. What else are we supposed to do?
We're
We're
supposed to wear
supposed to stay
gloves.
home.
We're supposed to stay home, right?
We're supposed
What else
to
are we
wash our
supposed to do?
hands.
What about when we go
6 feet,
outside? We are supposed to keep 6 feet apart, right? What else are we supposed to do?
We are supposed,
Wash our hands?
We're supposed to wash our hands regularly, right?
yes.
we're supposed to avoid being groups of
We are supposed to eat healthy.
Okay, all right. So let's make a little list here. Okay, I'm gonna make a little piece of paper and we're gonna make a list. Those were great. Those were fantastic. Let me make a new piece of paper here. Okay, all right. And let me share it with everybody. Find where's my button here? Okay. All right, share screen. Okay, so I think we got at least 5 there. So let's see. All right, we'll call it coronavirus rules. Okay. All right. Okay. So the first one is everybody is supposed to wear a mask. All right. What was another one? I forgot. People.
Wash your hands. We are supposed to wash our hands.
We are supposed to wash our hands for at least 20 seconds, right?
Yes. We are supposed to stay home.
Okay, good. All right, so let me put that one. Number 3, we are supposed to stay home. Okay. All right, what's another one? What was the thing about the 6 feet?
Maintain
To
the
eat
6 feet.
healthy.
What was the 6 feet one? We are
We are supposed to maintain the
eat
distance
healthy.
at least 6 feet.
maintain distance of at least 6 feet between others, right? Supposed to maintain a distance of at least 6 feet between others. And one more. What was the other one?
We are supposed to don't touch our face.
Okay, let's keep that one for the negative. Let's say one more thing we are supposed to do.
We are supposed to not be together more than 10 people. Or 5, I think.
Okay.
More than 5 people.
Okay, let's keep that one in the negative.
We are supposed to eat healthy.
Okay, we are supposed to eat healthy, and maybe we are supposed. Notice I'm putting my EDs to
Do
cover
exercise.
our cough, right? And we are supposed to use disinfectant on surfaces. All right, let's see, that's pretty good. Any more? Let's see, wear a mask, wash our hands, stay home, maintain distance, eat healthy, cover the cough. And then what happens if we are sick?
We're supposed to stay home.
Stay home if we're feeling sick.
We're feeling sick.
All right. And what about if we think we have the virus? What are we supposed to do?
So go to the hospital.
We're supposed to go to the hospital, or we're supposed to call?
We're supposed to
Call, right, to call our doctor. Right, we're not supposed to just show up. We're supposed to call our doctor if we think we have COVID-19. Okay, can we think of one more to get to 10?
Okay. We are supposed to.
It's a good list. Let's see.
We are supposed to
change our clothes when we go out.
To do what?
to change our clothes when we go out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're
To wash, yeah.
supposed.
Right away to take a shower or something. Do
Okay,
something
supposed to
when we return home.
let's see, clean up after coming home.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, those are good rules. And notice, what did I use every time?
To stay home.
ED and infinitive, right? Okay. Right? That's everything we are supposed to do.
To stay home.
All right. What about negative?
Um,
Can we think of some negatives?
We're not supposed to go out. That is negative.
Yeah.
Right? So we aren't supposed to what?
Go out.
To go out for
We're not supposed to go to the park.
unnecessary things. Okay. All right. Next one. We aren't
supposed to be get together more intensely.
we aren't supposed to get together in large groups. Okay. What about the beach?
We're not supposed to go to the beach.
Aren't supposed to go to the beaches.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else we aren't supposed to do?
We aren't supposed
Oh, that is the
to
good one about the face.
say hi with a kiss on the hand.
Okay. We aren't supposed to shake hands or kiss to say hello, right?
Yes.
No more kissing, Latino people. All right.
We aren't supposed to go to school.
All right, that's right. We aren't supposed to go to school at this time. All right.
We're not supposed to be working at this time.
Well, some people are working, right?
I know.
So we aren't supposed. We could say that we could say, what can we say about non-essential businesses?
Okay.
What can we say about non-essential businesses? Aren't supposed to be open, right? Right. And what about restaurants?
We
Only try
aren't
to.
supposed to go
Restaurants
there.
aren't supposed to.
Aren't supposed to go.
To be.
Restaurants can be open, but what's the rule?
Drive
orders only.
Only to
Just
go
for
orders.
takeout.
So we could say restaurants aren't supposed to let
People eat at the
customers
sit
eat
at the
at the restaurant, right?
restaurant.
You can take the food, but you got to go home, right? You can't sit down and eat at the table. Okay, can we think of 3 more? What's another thing we aren't supposed to do at this time?
We aren't supposed to touch your face.
Ah, that's a good one. Yeah, that one's hard for me.
Me too.
I always do that, and I say, oh yeah, that's not supposed to do that. Aren't supposed to touch
Me
our
too.
faces. Aren't supposed to touch our faces.
We aren't supposed to pay the rent.
According to who? Maybe that one would be more like don't have to, right? Don't have to. Right? Remember, aren't supposed to be somebody told you don't do that, right? Oh, what about parking tickets? The city
Oh yeah.
The city
No
isn't.
pay.
Oh,
A
the
citizen
city isn't
supposed
supposed
to pay
to
Give
Oh,
the parking
parking tickets, right?
but they're giving in downtown.
Oh, they do still?
Yeah, they do still. Yeah.
Oh
If
man.
you park, Monday to Friday.
Oh, that's right. They say only in residential. Residential areas, no parking tickets, but downtown they still
They're
get you.
still
Huh?
giving tickets. Yes.
Okay, all right. So you're right. So I better change that in residential areas. Okay. Okay. Can we think of one more negative?
We are supposed to go without mask.
We aren't supposed to go outside without a mask. I like it. Look at you guys. 20 sentences. 20 sentences of rules and regulations. I love it. All right, I'm going to save this, and I'm going to send it to you after the class is over, so you can look at the supposed tos. Okay.
Okay.
That would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to save it right here, and I'm going to send it to everybody to look at after the class is over. Okay.
So we can print it.
So you can print it out, yeah, and take a look.
Yes.
And again, what did I use
I'm
every
already
time?
done.
What did I use every time? I used ed and past participle, right? Ed and past participle. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to share instead the page in our book about supposed to. All right. So let me share that page. If I can find it here. Share. Okay. Does everybody see the book?
Yes.
Yes.
Do we have the book, teacher? Is the purple book?
It's going to be the purple book, and it's going to be, oops, I went too far. Purple book.
Page?
Here we go. Page 29. Okay,
What page, please?
29.
29.
Be supposed to and be not supposed to. All right. Notice what it says here. Be supposed to and not supposed to can show expectations about behavior. That's what I said the key point is. Expectations, right? All of those things that we just wrote down, those 20 rules, those are the expectations, right? Do people always follow the expectations? No, right? But that's what they expect, right? That's what the city expects, right? We're not supposed to do this, we're supposed to do that. Okay, so it says here, for example, you're supposed to come early to register for class. That's what they expect. On the other hand, you're not supposed to miss class without an appropriate excuse. Supposed to. All right. I want everybody, if you don't have a book, I want you to write down these nouns. The bookstore, the cafeteria, the classroom lab, the counseling office, the gymnasium, the library, and the tutoring office, okay? All right, so let's think about these things. Let's think about these things, and let's see if we can work in small groups and make some sentences. I want you to listen to my examples. And then if you don't have a book, I want you to copy these nouns. But listen to my examples, and you'll see what I mean. So the bookstore, for example, in the bookstore, you're supposed to be
quiet.
They're supposed to be quiet in this
well,
place.
in the bookstore.
In the bookstore.
Yeah,
You're supposed to be quiet.
You're supposed to be quiet,
in the
okay?
bookstore.
Or you're supposed to pay with cash or credit card, no checks. You aren't supposed to pay with a check, right? In the cafeteria, you're supposed to throw away your trash, right? You're not supposed to leave your your tray on the table, right? In the classroom, muchos rules in the classroom, right? Computer lab, counseling office, gymnasium, library, and tutoring office, okay? Everybody got the idea?
Yes.
Okay, so did everybody get their copy down or have a book?
Okay.
Okay, good. So I think most people have books, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to stop the share here for a second. Okay, so I'm going to put you into grupos, and I want you to try to think of some rules for each of those places, right? The good ones are the classroom and the library, right? Those two are the best because there's lots of rules in the classroom and there's lots of rules in the library. So actually, let's just focus on those two. Let's just focus on classroom and library. Think of what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do in the classroom and in the library. Just those two. I don't want to spend time on every single one of these things because that'll be too much time, and we're running low on time. It's already 20 after 8. So what I want to do is I'm going to put you into your rooms for about 5 or 10 minutes. I want you to see if you can make up some rules. Everybody can make some rules for the library and the classroom. Just those two, okay? Library and classroom. With what? With supposed to and not supposed to. So for example, in the classroom, you're supposed to be on time and you're not supposed to chew gum.
You're supposed to pay attention.
You're supposed to pay attention, etc., etc., etc. Okay, you got it, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so let's see. I think 3 rooms tonight. So there'll be 3 or 4 people in every group, okay? So I'm going to put you in your groups, and again, we're going to focus on 2 things, library and classroom. Library and classroom. So we already did it for the coronavirus. Now I want you to do your own ideas with library and classroom, those 2, okay? So take about 5 minutes to talk about the library and take about 5 minutes to talk about the classroom, and then we'll come back in and we'll finish up the class, okay? All right, no problems, everybody? All right,
No.
off you go. Library and classroom. Those are the 2 to focus on. All right? All right? And I'm going to push the button and push that join button. Push that join button, go off to your room and practice together with your partner. Off you go. There you go. Perfecto. All right. Hello, everybody.
Tomorrow.
Hello,
Hi,
Mr.
teacher.
Webb.
How we doing?
The book.
Oh, very well.
Very well. Very good. Glad to hear it.
Yes.
What rules have you made so far?
We
We have
are not supposed to speak on the classroom, in the classroom.
At least not speak when the teacher's talking, right?
Yep.
Yes.
yeah.
Supposed to listen carefully to the teacher. Supposed to take careful notes.
And
Supposed to find out the teacher's birthday and give him a present. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
nobody's receiving a gift right now because of the coronavirus.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. No presents for anybody right now.
No.
Well, we can't even go shopping for presents.
Not even.
Only Amazon.com. That's all we can use, right? We're not supposed to. They said the shopping malls are not going to open for a while.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Well, they said some places are going to start opening on Friday. Didn't they say that in the news today?
Yeah, that's what they were saying. I haven't even.
What did they say? They said that they said we're going to go to stage 2. We were in stage 1, and now we can go to stage 2. But I don't know what stage 2 is. I think they said definitely no schools and definitely no stadiums or restaurants or anything like that. But I think like, what did they say? Like clothing stores can open and flower shops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But everybody else has to stay closed. So that's the rule. We're changing the rules.
I don't like to watch the news.
Yeah. I stopped watching the news and I feel much happier.
Yeah. Don't think too much. Don't think too much about that.
Yeah. You just have to take care of yourself and hopefully everything will be okay, right?
Yeah.
But if you watch I know I have some friends that they're watching the news like 6 hours every day. It's like, stop it. You're gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
You're by the end of this, you're just gonna be full of anger and rage, and you won't be able to function as a human.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible, huh? All right, well,
It is.
keep practicing. I'm gonna check the other rooms, okay?
Okay,
Yeah.
Mr. Wade.
All right, good work, everybody. You guys are doing great. You guys are fantastic. My favorite class. Hola, everybody.
Hello.
We are
How we
supposed to
doing?
get book.
Four ladies in this room, okay?
Hello.
So
Loki.
we are supposed to stay
For
in
home?
silent or quiet in the library.
You're supposed to be quiet in the library, right?
Yes.
We're supposed to go inside for a study at the library. Yeah, we are supposed to return the books on time at the library.
That's right. We're supposed to return the books
We
on
are
time.
supposed to get book for home.
We're supposed to do what?
To get book for home.
Oh, you're supposed to get books from home?
To get book from the library to home.
Oh, well, you're not really supposed to do that. You can do that if you want to, but you're not. Remember, supposed to means somebody is expecting you to do it. Right? You're supposed to return the books if you borrow one, right?
We're supposed to return the
You're
books on
supposed to
time.
take care of the books.
We're supposed to take care of the books.
You aren't supposed to keep the books forever,
We're supposed,
right?
yeah.
You aren't supposed to write anything in the book, right? You
Supposed
aren't supposed to damage the books in any way.
to take care of the books.
Yeah, supposed to
Care.
the
The library books.
Right. You're supposed to be gentle with the books, right?
You are supposed to get a library card.
Everybody's supposed to have a library card. That's right. Very good.
Now in the classroom, Guadalupe?
In the classroom, okay. So that is not supposed to? We have to do that one not supposed to?
If you got one, sure, let's listen.
We are not supposed to use the cell phone in the classroom.
That's right. That's right.
We are not supposed.
We are not.
We are not supposed to eat in classroom.
That's true. Except now. Yeah. No, you can eat, you can drink, you have a soda, no problem.
We're not supposed to use.
Is the home, our home.
At your house, no problem, right?
Okay.
We are not supposed to use the phone in the classroom.
Right.
How about teacher? We are not supposed to interrupt.
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 We're not supposed to interrupt other students or the teacher, right?
Yeah.
That's good.
We're not supposed to eat. We have that one. We're not supposed to fight in the classroom.
No fighting. Yeah, that's right. Well, that's happened before to me. I've had two students get into a fight in the classroom at break time. Yeah. Crazy.
In the classroom.
No bueno.
Yeah, no bueno at all. No. Well, when you get enough people together, sooner or later you get two people who don't like each other.
Yeah.
There was.
Well, when we're kids.
The fight.
When we're kids, okay. Because they're kids. But when we are adults,
it shouldn't happen, right?
No.
But what it was the one student thought that the other student was interested in his wife.
Oh.
And he said, "You don't talk to my wife. You leave my wife alone." And he said, "I'm not talking to your wife. What are you talking about?" He was muy jealous.
Oh,
He
wow.
was very jealous, and he's got into
That's
a
why.
fight at the break time. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He got kicked out of the school.
Yeah, we're not supposed to fight
You're not
inside the
supposed to
room.
fight in the
I mean, not in the room, not at the school at
classroom.
all.
Yeah,
Yes,
go to the
Okay.
gym with your boxing gloves.
yes, yeah, better do that, yeah.
Then it's okay. That's okay. That's right.
To
That's
our
right.
right.
So,
To
All
our,
right.
to
Should we
the
go
right.
back to the main room? You feel
Yes.
good? Okay.
okay, yes.
So I'm going to close the rooms. We'll go back to the main room. Okay.
Okay.
Hi, ladies.
All right. Back to the main room we go. Welcome back, everybody. I heard a lot of good answers, a lot of good rules and regulations.
Yeah. But we don't do any of that.
Yeah, we don't follow anything, right?
We don't follow, is the right word. We don't
Yeah,
follow.
but we know the rules. We don't
Oh.
follow the rules, but we know the
Follow.
rules at least.
We know the
At
rules, but
least
we
we
don't
know the
follow
rules.
the rules.
And everybody else will be coming back here in just a second.
We
And
don't follow.
we're gonna do one last thing when we get back, and then we're gonna be done for tonight. And then tomorrow night we're gonna do some reading, and we're gonna practice all of the different passives. Now we've learned a lot of different passives, so we're gonna do some reading and practice all of them, and then pretty close we'll be ready to be finished with this chapter. Passive.
Okay.
Are you feeling pretty good about passive now?
Nope.
Yeah. So remember, if you're a level 4 student, you need to know simple present, simple past, and future. Those three, right? Simple present, simple past, future. Am, is, are, was, were, will be. If you're 5 and 6, you need to know. What is that? Somebody's calling me on my Facebook. Leave me alone. If you're 5 or 6, you need to pay attention to present perfect passive and present continuous passive. So make sure you watch that video from Thursday if you haven't already.
Present perfect, and which one is the other one?
Present perfect and present continuous.
Present continuous.
So
Being plus past participle.
Being and been, right. Right. So level 4 needs to know am, is, are, was, were, and will be, right? And level 5 and 6 need to add being and been.
Ben.
Being and been.
Edu.
Okay? So
Hi.
so we'll review everything again more tomorrow. And tomorrow I really want to focus on telling the difference between the active and the passive, right? So, but I want to finish up with working together on that video that I sent you. I sent you that video, right? The link to the video, but I want to watch it together in class and see if we can do these sentences. Let me see here if I can. See, I got to push a button here. Okay. All right. Can everybody see the video screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. All right. So I'm going to turn off the microphones for a second. We're going to watch the video for a little while, and then we're going to practice together. All right. Microphone's going off. All right. So let's watch this together. I know some of you already watched it, but this will be a good review to culminate the class tonight. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Grammar connections. Unit 2, Lesson F. Be plus supposed to and be plus not supposed to. Watch and listen. Be plus supposed to and be plus not supposed to can show expectations about behavior.
You're supposed to come early to register for the class.
You're not supposed to miss class without an appropriate excuse.
I'm supposed to meet my tutor every Monday.
He's supposed to attend every seminar.
They're supposed to explain the rules to us.
I'm not supposed to leave campus at night.
She's not supposed to have a part-time job. We're not supposed to talk during the test.
Check your understanding. Look at the picture. What is the expectation?
All right, I'm going to turn the mics back on. All right. So, students, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, what should we say here? I
supposed to meet my
I
tutor
suppose
every Monday.
Exactly. I am supposed
supposed
to meet, right? I am supposed to meet.
my tutor every Monday.
Using the verb in parentheses.
Right, here it comes.
I am supposed to meet.
Meet my tutor every Monday.
Right? This is the passive form, right? Be verb, past participle, infinitive.
I am supposed to meet.
All right, now this one is singular. So what are we going to say for this one?
He's supposed
Is supposed to attend.
seminar.
Is supposed to
Supposed to
attend.
attend every seminar.
He's supposed to attend every seminar.
Supposed to attend every seminar.
He's supposed to attend.
All right, now this one is plural. So what are we going to say for plural?
Supposed to.
They
are supposed
are
to. They are supposed to.
explain the rules to us.
They are supposed to explain the rules to
They are
us.
supposed
Good.
to. They are supposed to.
Explain the rules to us.
They are supposed to.
All right, now how about this one? This one's going to be negative. Negative.
I'm supposed to leave campus at night.
Leave the campus at night. I'm not supposed to leave the
I'm
campus
not
at night.
supposed to leave campus at night.
Here's the negative with she.
She is not
She is not supposed to have a part-time
job.
Part-time.
She's not supposed to have a part-time job. Good.
He's not supposed to have a part-time job.
She's not supposed to have a part-time job.
Okay, how about this next one?
We are
We
We're not
is plural.
supposed to talk. We are not supposed to talk during the test.
Sounds good to me.
We're not supposed to talk during the test.
Let's review.
We're not supposed to talk during the test.
Be plus supposed to and be plus not supposed to can show expectations about behavior.
You're supposed to come early to register for the class.
You're not supposed to miss class without an appropriate excuse.
The end. Supposed to and not supposed to. It's all very similar. Let me see. Let me get rid of this sound because the sound is always terrible when that happens. All right. All right. Oops. All right. Okay, anyway. So supposed to is just like those that we learned in lesson B, right? Remember lesson B where we had required to, expected to, encouraged to, permitted to, allowed to, right? We have one person, usually the boss or the teacher or the school, setting the rules and the policies for the students, right? So remember, all students are expected to be at school during school hours. All students are required to carry their ID at all times. All students are permitted to bring their own lunch if they want to, etc., 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 right? So this is just another one that's kind of a special case because it's not really passive. It's about expectations. So I could use expected to and supposed to mean basically the same thing, right? I am expected to be on time. I am supposed to be on time. I am required to be on time, right? Supposed, expected, required are all about rules and policies, right? And that's why we use supposed to. Okay, does everybody feel good about supposed to?
Yes.
Yes.
Now used to and be used to we're going to talk about in another lesson. So that's something that we talked about just a little bit tonight, but we're going to see it again, I think, in lesson 4. So we'll see that again later in the semester. Okay, everybody feel good? Feel positive? Feel fantastic? We're off to another Monday. Woohoo! Another lesson learned, right? So we're gonna talk passive a little bit more this week, tomorrow, okay? So we're gonna be almost finished with passive, and then we're gonna move on to indirect questions, and then we'll be almost done with all of the important things. And then, except for modals, we have to talk about modals some more. So we got 2 more big ideas to cover before the end of the semester. Indirect questions, that's next week. And the week after that, modals. And then we'll have all of the big things covered. Okay?
Okay.
Sounds fantastic? Excited? Yeah! Yeah, okay. So we're back in the saddle. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, Mr.
Guadalupe.
Webb.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Claudia, Isadora, Julio, Rosendo, Galaxy Core Prime. I don't know who that is. And David Azuela and Ida Vegas. I didn't get to talk to some of you tonight, but I appreciate you coming, and I'll definitely talk to you tomorrow. Okay?
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you,
Have a good
everybody.
night.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Good
Love
night,
you all. Stay
Isidora.
soft.
Good night, Leo.
Bye.
Do everything
Bye.
you're supposed to do, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
And don't do anything
Bye,
you're not
Leo.
supposed to do, okay?
Bye.
Bye. See you
Leo,
later.
se peina mañana, quiero verla.
Bye. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a dance party tomorrow. You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Viva Mexico.